Election Day Nightmare. November 5th, 2038 is my first year voting as I've just celebrated my 18th birthday just a few short days ago. I'm obsessed with politics as I plan on becoming a well-respected political figure in the near future. I wanted to work my way up the ladder from mayor to governor to senator and ultimately the president of these United States. I woke up at 5:45 a.m. filled with excitement as I ironed my suit that I'll wear to the voting booth. Time traveled by like the wind, as in the blink of an eye. Time was iron 9 a.m. I'm ready to cast my ballot. I'm ready to take action and cast my ballot in the most crucial political race in the history of this country. On one hand, we have the great divider, the man who's ran on pure division by not just race, but also by income. On the other hand, there's someone who believes in unity. That same someone has dignity, pride, and a record in the Senate as unifying people of all races and political backgrounds. I've voiced my opinion on the great divider. I made it clear on my blog how he will be a one-time president and how I urge my followers and supporters to choose unity over division. A divided nation won't make as much progress as a unified one. Over the past 4 years, I went from being invisible to being one of the most talked about bloggers in the country. I've had offers from various radio stations about beginning my own podcast, and I'm still mulling over those offers. I'm fully excited about those offers. I got myself ready and headed outside of my home where the fresh air smelled good to me. It's a beautiful day, a day that will be historic. It's the beginning of the end for the great divider. I locked my front door and headed to my vehicle planted before my garage. I opened up my car door and entered into my vehicle. I'm feeling good as I rev up the engine for my car. Today is the end of the great divider's reign over this entire country. I slammed on my car's gas, reversing out of the driveway until an all-black SUV rushed behind my vehicle, forcing me to slam on my car brake. I immediately punched my car horn, honking at the idiot who parked his vehicle right behind mine. I then noticed the same kind of vehicle stop before me, and then another one to my left, and then another one to my right. My heart jumped out of my chest. Was this a hit? I'm not the mafia, and I damn sure ain't a made man, so whatever this is, must be some sort of case of wrong identity. The car doors of the vehicles opened up as men dressed in all black exited out of their vehicles with guns drawn. Nervousness shot through my entire body at the current moment. It's all over for me, is the first thought that ran through my mind. The men didn't begin firing their guns at me like Denzel Washington at the end of Training Day. Instead, they all rushed to my vehicle and yanked open every single car door. "Are you Ryan Mitchell?" One man hurled at me to the top of his lungs. I somehow gained the strength to nod my head. Then suddenly, one of the men yanked me by my collar and pulled me from out of my vehicle. "Ryan Mitchell, the president of these United States, needs to speak with you urgently before the election polls close all around the country." "What?" was the only word that could leak from out of my mouth. I was then forced into one of the vehicles as one of the Secret Service looking men placed a blindfold around my eyes. I couldn't see anything as I could feel the SUV take off in a hurry. Surely one of my neighbors must have saw what has just taken place, I thought to myself. That brought a little comfort to me because I know the elderly woman across the street from me is nosy. She is the neighborhood watch, all by her lonesome. She knows everything that takes place in the neighborhood. For the past 90 years, or however long her old ass has lived in that rundown need-to-be-demolished house of hers. I know she must have saw exactly what just happened to me, and therefore the cops should be aware by now, and sooner than later, this hostage situation will be all over for me. I'll be free and right back to my normal life. Ryan Mitchell, you've not been a fan of the president for years, says a man seated right next to me. It's one thing that you're not a fan of his, but it's another that you speak so negatively about him. That blog of yours upsets the president more than you could ever imagine. Your words are causing a rift in this country that's leading to violent protests and violence among citizens across this country who believe in our president and those who don't. So today, a great day for this nation. The president expects you to blog and vlog why everyone should vote for him. The president demands you to do so, or you will not make it to the voting booth today. He's stressed. Now, do you agree to do what is expected of you by the president, or else? I could feel the barrel of a gun pressed against my temple and another against my chest. Make a decision quickly, he urged. Panic took over me, forcing me to agree to their demands. Quick, fast, and in a hurry, the blindfold was removed from over my eyes as I spotted a laptop situated before me, logged into my blog's website. One man to my left backed away from me, aiming a gun at me, as the man to my right did the exact same thing. Go live now and endorse the president, or else die in front of the eyes of all of your followers, the man to my right spoke. I agreed nervously as I thought about the fact that these men hacked into my website. The government has power and they're invincible, so I can't defeat them. I didn't waste any more time. I just went live and did exactly what they demanded I do. I went on and on, admitting my mistakes about doubting the president, who I labeled the great divider in the past. Nearly a few minutes traveled by as I praised the president in ways I would never under any normal circumstance. I closed out my support for the president by stating, be smart and vote for the right guy for the job. I paused, thinking about what to say next as I noticed both men impatiently grinning at me. I sighed heavily before I spoke again. To all my loyal followers that know me, know that I'm being held captive by the members of the president's Secret Service, and I would never in my life endorse that racist, bigoted, misogynistic, great divider. No other words could leak from out of my mouth before one of the Secret Service members shot the laptop, turning it off right away. I expected him to point and aim his gun at me as I expected it to be all over for me. I closed my eyes, then I began counting down from 5. I didn't hear the sound of a gun going off. I didn't have a chance to even say my final prayer, as I knew for certain that it was all over for me. Excellent work, young man, the Secret Service agent sitting behind my car seat spoke, prompting me to take a look back where I spotted the man who I planned on voting for in this upcoming election. He caused my jaw to drop. This can't be reality. Thank you for helping me win this election, young man, the soon-to-be president-elect spoke. He made a phone call, suddenly prompting all the major news stations to let it be known that he's launched a search for me, Ryan Mitchell, and that he wouldn't allow the president to get away with yet another heinous crime. After a few minutes of him speaking with the heads of every major news station controlled by his wing, he then turned on the televisions on the back of both of the driver and front passenger's headrests. Every news station reported the story that the president's contender has launched a search to find me. This is all crazy. This is fake news. My head is spinning. My confusion level has risen at an all-time high. It's the American way, young man, the presidential hopeful spoke. This must be done to show me as a hero and win me the presidency. This must never be spoken about with anyone ever. Do you hear me? We're going to head to my office in an hour or so where we'll hold a news conference informing the naive American public that we found you. The sheep that most of them are will believe in what they see and hear, and their votes will belong to me. At the press conference, you'll keep your mouth shut and act relieved to be saved by me. You'll tell the world the president's Secret Service agents promised to execute you once you did that video on your website. That end his presidency for certain and send him to prison and me to the White House. Nod your head if you agree to do what is expected of you to do, or I'll end you myself. I exhaled heavily before I nodded my head in agreement to his demands. What could I do? Hell, what is there for me to do? It's either I lie and live that lie for the rest of my days, or my life ends now. Mr. President-to-be, I'll do whatever you need me to do. I spoke frighteningly. I know you will, he replied before laughing sinfully, as he knows he's just took the presidency right from the president.